Hello friends, welcome to the today's session. Myself Savita, Patil, Assistant Professor, Government Degree College, Kamalapur. In my previous video, we have discussed regarding the branch accounts. In my today's class, we shall discuss the royalty account. That is, all of you know, that is the royalty play a very, very important role, the finance. And today we shall see that is what is the meaning of royalty. What are the important terms have included in the royalty? That everything we shall discuss in my today's class. Friends, there are certain special rights or special properties which are possessed by a particular person. These special rights may be in the form of inventions, manuscripts, or minerals. The owner may use these special rights for earning income by investing certain amount and conducting required operations. These operations may be manufacturing of a product, publishing of a book, or extraction unwilling to conduct required operations. He may allow other persons to make use of special rights belonging to him for some consideration. Royalty comes into existence. Students and my dear friends, here the human being, the human beings have a what we can the special qualities. Okay, like they have the inventions, manuscripts, and the minerals. And for these inventions, they want to use their special rights. For what purpose? For earning some certain amount by their speciality. That is the by their inventions they want to earn some income. So there exists arise the question of the how we can get the royalty. There comes the term royalty. Okay. ವಿದ್ಯಾರ್ಥಿಗಳೇ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಮನುಷ್ಯರು ದ ಹ್ಯೂಮನ್ ಬೀಯಿಂಗ್ಸ್ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಸಮ್ ಸ್ಪೆಷಲ್ ಕ್ವಾಲಿಟೀಸ್. ಹೊಸದಾಗಿ ಏನಾದ್ರು ಅವರು ಕಂಡಿಡ್ತಾರೆ, ಪಬ್ಲಿಷ್ ಮಾಡಿರ್ತಾರೆ, ಹೌದಾ, ಮ್ಯಾನುಫ್ಯಾಕ್ಚರ್ ಮಾಡಿರ್ತಾರೆ. ಸೊ ಅವರು ತಮ್ಮದೇ ಆದ ಇನ್ವೆನ್ಷನ್ ಇಂದ ಅವ್ರೇನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ದೇ ವಾಂಟ್ ಟು ಅರ್ನ್ ಸಮಥಿಂಗ್. ಸೊ ಅದು ನಂದೇ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ಕೋಕೆ ಅಲ್ಲೇನಾಗ್ತದೆ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಹ್ಯಾಂಗ್ ಅದು ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕು ಅಂದ್ರೆ ದೇರ್ ಕಮ್ಸ್ ದಿ ಪಿಕ್ಚರ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ರಾಯಲ್ಟಿ. ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ವಾಟ್ ದ ಬ್ರೀಫ್ ಇಂಟ್ರೊಡಕ್ಷನ್ ರಿಗಾರ್ಡಿಂಗ್ ದ ರಾಯಲ್ಟಿ. Here, royalty is a periodic consideration payable by user of rights to the owners for using the special rights belonging to the owner. Really? Here, royalty is what the consideration which is payable to the owner. Periodic. Okay. The royalty ಅಂದ್ರೆ really per month ಆಗಿ ಮಾಲೀಕನಿಗೆ ಒಂದು ಹಂತ ಹಂತವಾಗಿ ಕಂತುಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಕೊಡುವುದು. ಹೇಗೆ ಕೊಡ್ತಾರಲ್ಲ ದುಡ್ಡು, ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ನಾವು ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ರಾಯಲ್ಟಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ಬೋದು. ಓಕೆ, ಹಿಯರ್ ಕಮ್ಸ್ ದ ರಾಯಲ್ಟಿ ಅಗ್ರಿಮೆಂಟ್. Royalty agreement is an agreement between two parties. That's the owner of rights and user of rights. Here, then we have to understand that there are two parties is there. That is the one is the owner, another is the user. So here, existence of the agreement that is owner of rights and the user of rights, containing certain terms and conditions relating to royalty amount, minimum rent, and recovery of short workings. My dear friends, under the royalty agreement, here the two persons will come. That is the owner of the rights. That is the person who is the owner, and another will be the person who will use the rights. That is the user of the rights. Okay, here the agreement will be there subject to a certain terms and conditions. The terms and conditions are that's the royalty amount, how the amount will be payable per month as per the agreement, and for this will be the minimum rent. What will be the minimum rent for a particular period? That is they will discuss under the royalty agreement. And the recovery of short workings, if the user the person will be fails to pay some amount in few months, and that short out means how it should be recovered. These are the important terms which will contain the royalty agreement. ವಿದ್ಯಾರ್ಥಿಗಳೇ, ರಾಯಲ್ಟಿ ಅಗ್ರಿಮೆಂಟ್ ಏನನ್ನು ಒಳಗೊಂಡಿರುತ್ತದೆ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಒಬ್ಬನು ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಿರ್ತಾನ, ಮಾಲೀಕನು ಇರ್ತಾನ, ಇನ್ನೊಬ್ಬ ಯಾರು ಇರ್ತಾನೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಯೂಸರ್ ಇರ್ತಾನೆ. ಸೊ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾಲೀಕನ ಹಕ್ಕುಗಳು ಮತ್ತು ಯಾರು ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಿರ್ತಾರ ಅವ್ರ ರೈಟ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನ ಕುರಿತು ಈ ಅಗ್ರಿಮೆಂಟ್ ಒಳಗೊಂಡಿರುತ್ತದೆ. ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ ಏನೇನ್ ಬರ್ತದೆ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ರಾಯಲ್ಟಿ ಅಮೌಂಟ್ ಎಷ್ಟನ್ನ ಕೊಡಬೇಕು, ಮಿನಿಮಮ್ ರೆಂಟ್ ಎಷ್ಟನ್ನ ಫಿಕ್ಸ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಕೆಲವೊಂದು ತಿಂಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಅವನು ಹಣವನ್ನು ಕೊಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಫೇಲ್ ಆದ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಆ ಶಾರ್ಟ್ ಮೀನ್ಸ್ ರಿಕವರಿ ಆಫ್ ದ ಶಾರ್ಟ್ ಅದನ್ನ ಹೇಗೆ ರಿಕವರಿ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಎಂಬುದನ್ನ ಈ ರಾಯಲ್ಟಿ ಅಗ್ರಿಮೆಂಟ್ ಒಳಗೊಂಡಿದೆ. ಓಕೆ, then let us see types of royalty. patent right. Patent royalty is a periodical consideration payable by a manufacturer to the holder of patent right for using the inventions made by patentee. Important here, the types of royalties. The first one is the patent royalty. Patent royalty is a periodical consideration, that is the amount should be paid by the this periodically by the manufacturer to the holder of patent right, that is the person who will be holding the patent right for using the inventions made by the patentee. Okay, means what here, the patent and patentee. Okay, two persons come here. The two persons involved in this royalty are patentee and manufacturer. Patentee is a person who holds the patent right. That's a patent is a person who is holding the right. That's a patent right. For what purpose? For his invention. Whatever may be the invention that is held by him. That thing. Manufacturer is a person who uses a special right belonging to the patentee for manufacture of product. Okay. Patent royalty is calculated at a fixed rate on the basis of number of units products or sold. Here, the important term is that is the patent royalty is calculated. How it is calculated? At a fixed rate. On what basis? That is the number of units products or sold. That's produced or sold. On this number, the what happens here, the fixed rate will be calculated. This is what the number one important classification, that is the types of the royalty, patent royalty. And the copyright royalty. Copyright royalty is a periodical consideration payable by publisher to the author for using the manuscript for publishing a book. Author is a person who prepares manuscript on a particular subject. Publisher is a person who publishes a book using the manuscript prepared by an author. Copyright royalty is calculated at a fixed rate on the basis of the number of books printed or sold. Here the copyright is second important, that is comes under the first is the patent and second will be the copyright. Here he comes under the publisher and the writer. The writer is a person who will write the book, that's a manuscript on a particular subject. The publisher is a publisher who wants to make the use of the book, that's by the publication of that manuscript prepared by an author. And the copyright royalty is how the royalty will be calculated. It's calculated at a fixed rate on the basis of number of books printed and the or printed or sold. In these two bases, the royalty will be calculated. This is what the second most important, that is the copyright royalty. Then the mining royalty. Mining royalty is a periodical consideration payable by lessee to the landlord. Here comes the lessee and the landlord. For extracting minerals from the land belonging to the landlord, lessee is a person who extracts the minerals from the land belonging to the landlord, and landlord is a person who owns the land and bearing the mineral. Mining royalty is calculated at a fixed rate on the basis of output. ವಿದ್ಯಾರ್ಥಿಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಮೈನಿಂಗ್ ರಾಯಲ್ಟಿ ಅನ್ನೋದು ಇದು ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ ಬರ್ತದೆ ಲ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ಮತ್ತೆ ಲೆಸ್ಸಿ ನಡುವೆ ಬರ್ತದೆ. ಹೌದಾ, ಲೆಸ್ಸಿ ಇಸ್ ಎ ಪರ್ಸನ್ ಹೂ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ರಾಕ್ಟ್ಸ್ ದ ಮಿನರಲ್ಸ್. ಲ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ಲ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ಅನ್ನ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಇದರಿಂದ ಏನ್ ಬೆನಿಫಿಟ್ ಅನ್ನ ತಗೋತಾರೆ, ಅವರು ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕು, ಲ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ಲಾರ್ಡ್ಗೆ ಪರ್ ಮಂತ್ ದೇ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ಪೇ ದ ರಾಯಲ್ಟಿ. ಇದು ಹೇಗೆ ಫಿಕ್ಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ದಿಸ್ ಬೇಸಿಸ್ ಆನ್ ದ ಬೇಸಿಸ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ಔಟ್ಪುಟ್. ಈಗ ಅಂಡರ್ ದ ರಾಯಲ್ಟಿ ದೇ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಬಿನ್ ಕ್ಲಾಸಿಫೈಡ್ ಇಂಟು ತ್ರೀ ಟೈಪ್ಸ್. That three types, that is the patent, copyright, okay, patent, mining and copyright. In this the royalties are mainly classified into three types. Okay, now the important terms used in the royalty agreement. Minimum rent. Minimum rent is the minimum amount payable by user of right to the owner of the right in any year, irrespective of the quantum of output of sales. In the initial years, due to preparatory work, output or sale is less, thereby the owner of right will have to receive a small amount of royalty to safeguard the interest of the owners against a small amount of royalty. The minimum rent clause is inserted in the royalty agreement. Minimum rent is also called as dead rent or fixed. Here, the important term, that is the minimum rent. This is what the minimum rent is, the minimum amount payable by whom? Payable by the user of the right. To whom? To the owner of the right. In any year, irrespective of the quantum of output or sales. Whatever may be the sales or the output, that is not important. The person has to pay compulsorily. He has to pay the minimum rent. In the initial years, that is, he may receive the less, but the minimum rent will be the fixed. It is also called as the dead rent or the fixed rent. Then Minimum rent in case that is the stoppage of work due to strike and lockouts. In case of stoppage of work in any year due to strike and lockouts, the minimum rent applicable to the year depends upon the terms royalty agreement. The term of agreement may be any one of the following. That's if the royalty agreement contains the word reduction of minimum rent proportionately to the period of strike and lockouts. That is what here comes this minimum rent. If the when in case of stoppage of the work, how it is due to the strikes and the lockout. In that case, if the royalty agreement contains the word reduction of minimum rent proportionately to the period of strike and lockouts, how it should be calculated means that is the for the first if the period of strike and lockouts is given in months. In that case, we have to consider minimum rent of strikes and lockout year is equal to minimum rent per annum into 12 months strikes and lockout divided by 12. In this step, we have to consider this one. And if it is given in days, that is the minimum rent of strike and lockout year is equal to minimum rent per annum into 365 minus strike, days strikes and lockout divided by 365. And this way, we have to calculate the minimum rent. B. If the royalty agreement contains the word that actual royalty earned shall discharge all the minimum rental obligations of that year. In that case, that is if the period of strike or lockout is given in months, if it is given in month, then a minimum rent per annum, that is the less concession in minimum rent of strikes or lockout period. In from this we have the minimum rent per annum into stock that's a strike or lockout months into rate of concession divided by 100. Here the months we have to take divided by 12. That's we know that's from this this one get the minimum rent. If the period of strike or lockout is given in days, then it should be calculated same here. Instead of 12, we will take the 365 and the rate of concession divided 100 it will be the same. From this, if we deduct this one, we'll get the minimum rent. In this way, we have to calculate the minimum rent. Most important word will get the short workings. Here, the what do you mean by short workings means the excess of minimum rent or the actual royalty is known as the short workings. That's the question of short working arises only when the actual right is less than the minimum rent. Remember it here. The short working means what? The excess of minimum rent over the actual royalty is known as short workings. Yes, when the short working, the question of short workings will arise only when the actual royalty is less than the minimum rent. Okay, it can be calculated as under short workings is equal to minimum rent minus actual royalty. The next will be the surplus. The excess of actual royalty that is on the minimum rent is known as the surplus. The question of surplus arises only when actual royalty is more than the minimum rent. Here the surplus is equal to actual royalty minus minimum rent. The next will be the recoupment of short workings due to the minimum rent clause. Then user of the right may pay more amount than the actual royalty earned in the initial years. It causes a loss to the user of the right without any fault on his part. In order to compensate against such a loss, the royalty agreement contains a clause following the user of right to recover such a loss in the surplus royalties of next years. ವಿದ್ಯಾರ್ಥಿಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ರಿಕೂಪ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಶಾರ್ಟ್ ವರ್ಕಿಂಗ್ಸ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನು ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಈ ಶಾರ್ಟ್ ವರ್ಕಿಂಗ್ಸ್ ಆಗಿರೋದನ್ನ ಹೇಗೆ ರಿಕವರಿ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಒಂದ್ ವರ್ಷ ಈ ಶಾರ್ಟ್ ವರ್ಕಿಂಗ್ ರಿಕವರಿ ಇದ್ದು ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಟರ್ಮ್ಸ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಕಂಡೀಷನ್ಸ್ ಅವರು ಕೊಟ್ಟಿರ್ತಾರೆ ಹೇಗೆ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಇಟ್ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಬಿ ರಿಕವರ್ಡ್ ಇನ್ ದ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಇಯರ್ ಆರ್ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ 2 years ಅಂತ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿರ್ತಾರೆ ಆ ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕಿದು ಶಾರ್ಟಿಂಗ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನ ರಿಕವರ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೋಬೇಕು ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ ಆಸ್ ಪರ್ ದ ಅಗ್ರಿಮೆಂಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಹೆಂಗಿರ್ತದೆ ಹಂಗೆ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಇದಕ್ಕೆ ಏನಂತ ಕರೀತಾರೆ ರಿಕೂಪ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಶಾರ್ಟ್ ವರ್ಕಿಂಗ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ ಓಕೆ ವಿದ್ಯಾರ್ಥಿಗಳೇ ನಾವು ಹಿಂದಿನ ಕ್ಲಾಸಿನಲ್ಲಿ ಏನೇನ್ ಡಿಸ್ಕಷನ್ ಮಾಡಿದೆವು ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ರಾಯಲ್ಟಿ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನು ಅದು ಏನನ್ನು ಒಳಗೊಂಡಿರ್ತದೆ ಎಷ್ಟು ವಿಧವಾದ ರಾಯಲ್ಟಿಗಳಿವೆ ಅದನ್ನೆಲ್ಲ ನಾವು ಇವತ್ತಿನ ಶಾರ್ಟ್ ವರ್ಕಿಂಗ್ಸ್ ಅಂದ್ರೇನು ಸರ್ಪ್ಲಸ್ ಅಂದ್ರೇನು ಆ ಶಾರ್ಟ್ ವರ್ಕಿಂಗ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನ ಹೇಗೆ ರಿಕವರ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ ಅನ್ನೋದನ್ನ ನಾವು ಇವತ್ತಿನ ನನ್ನ ವಿಡಿಯೋದಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಡಿದೆವು ನಾವು in my next class we shall see with the format and the some problems that is on royalty accounts we shall discuss with the format of calculation how it will be calculated and some more important problems. Thank you. If you have liked my channel you have to subscribe my channel. Stay home, stay safe. Have a good day.